November 24th, 1991 is a day that forever changed the music world. It was the day we lost Freddie Mercury, the legendary frontman of Queen. His passing didn't just mark the end of an incredible era in rock music. It was a moment that truly shook fans all over the globe. Let's take a look back at the life and career of Freddie Mercury, a man whose talent and charisma continue to inspire. Freddie Mercury's journey to stardom began far from the glittering stages and roaring crowds. His early life in Zanzibar was a world away from the flamboyant persona he would later become known for. Growing up in a melting pot of cultures, Freddie's childhood was shaped by both traditional values and his father's steady job as a cashier for the British colonial office. It wasn't a life of luxury, but it was a stable one. It was during these early years that Freddie's love for music started to shine through. At the age of 7, he was sent to St. Peter's School, a British-style boarding school in India. Though this move was a challenge, it proved to be a turning point in his musical development. The school, with its strong focus on the arts, introduced Freddie to formal music education, where he learned to play the piano and joined the school choir. It was clear early on that Freddie had a natural talent for music. While his school days were about more than just academics, it was there that he formed his first band, the Hectics. This marked Freddie's first taste of performing live, playing rock and roll covers at school events. It was a small start, but it gave him the first glimpse of what would later become a global stage. In 1963, political unrest in Zanzibar forced his family to move to England, setting Freddie on a path that would change his life forever. The change of scenery brought both challenges and exciting new opportunities. Now a teenager, Freddie found himself in an entirely different world, one buzzing with the revolutionary sounds of the 1960s rock scene. The cultural shift was immense, but Freddie quickly adapted and thrived in his studies at university, where his talent was already shining through. This period of his life played a key role in shaping his aesthetic vision, which would later become one of Queen's signature traits. The London music scene of the late 60s was vibrant, and Freddie was right in the thick of it. He spent his time at music venues, soaking in the energy and styles of the bands that were taking over the city. It was during this time that he met Brian May and Roger Taylor, members of a band called Smile. Their connection quickly grew, and soon the idea of forming Queen was born. But before becoming part of this legendary band, Freddie had a few detours. He worked a variety of jobs, including one at Heathrow Airport, and dabbled in other musical projects. It wasn't until 1970 that everything fell into place. Freddie officially joined the band and Queen was formed. John Deacon later completed the iconic lineup, and from that moment, Freddie's influence on the band was undeniable. Freddie's impact was felt immediately. He played a key role in renaming the band and used his design skills to create the now famous Queen logo, incorporating the zodiac signs of each band member. The early years of the Queen were filled with both excitement and struggle. Their unique sound, a fusion of rock, opera, and other genres, didn't fit neatly into any existing category. As a result, their efforts to gain mainstream success were met with mixed reactions. But Freddie's determination and bold vision for the band never wavered. In 1973, Queen released their first album. While it wasn't an instant hit, it gave a glimpse into the band's distinctive style and Freddie's powerhouse vocals. Their third album, released in 1974, marked the beginning of their rise to fame. But it was A Night at the Opera in 1975 that really changed the game. This album featured the epic Bohemian Rhapsody, a bold and complex masterpiece that blended rock and opera, instantly becoming a classic and solidifying Queen's place in rock history. From the mid-1970s to the early 1990s, Queen, with Freddie Mercury as its dynamic frontman, underwent a stunning transformation. The band's music and visuals evolved in exciting ways, not only marking their climb to stardom, but also providing a platform for Freddie's own artistic growth. He continuously pushed boundaries, showcasing his versatility and willingness to experiment. In Queen's early years, their music was a fearless mix of hard rock, progressive rock, and a hint of heavy metal, as heard in albums like Queen and Queen II. But with Sheer Heart Attack in 1974 and the iconic A Night at the Opera in 1975, they started to break away from traditional genres. Bohemian Rhapsody epitomized this boldness, a 6-minute suite that merged hard rock and opera in a way no one had ever done before. The song defied all musical conventions and quickly became one of the most beloved anthems in rock history. Freddie's role in Queen was truly multifaceted. As the lead vocalist, he brought an unmatched energy and vocal range to the band's music. His songwriting became bolder and more diverse, pulling from a wide array of influences. Tracks like Somebody to Love and Crazy Little Thing Called Love showcased his ability to blend different genres, with the former drawing from gospel and the latter from rockabilly. Visually, Queen and Freddie were just as adventurous. Their live performances turned into theatrical spectacles. Freddie's flamboyant costumes and magnetic stage presence became key to the band's identity. Their concerts weren't just gigs, they were immersive experiences that left audiences mesmerized. The late 70s and 80s were a time of great experimentation for Queen. News of the World, featuring anthems like We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions, leaned towards a more mainstream rock sound. They followed this with Jazz and the Game, with the latter introducing the disco-influenced Another One Bites the Dust. These albums showed Queen's ability to evolve and reach a wider audience without losing their unique edge. The 1980s were a period of expansion and exploration for Freddie and the band. They ventured into dance, funk, and electronic music, with Hot Space being a prime example. The album, especially the single Under Pressure with David Bowie, highlighted Freddie's willingness to experiment with different genres and collaborate with other artists. Freddie's personal life also played a big part in shaping his music. His experiences, relationships, and ongoing journey of self-discovery found a voice in his songs. Tracks like Love of My Life and These Are the Days of Our Lives are often seen as reflections of his personal emotions and relationships. Throughout the 80s, Queen's popularity exploded worldwide. The Magic Tour in 1986, which would be their last with Freddie, saw them performing to some of the largest crowds they'd ever played to. But it wasn't just their music that was evolving. Freddie's appearance went through a significant transformation too. In the 70s, his look was all about long hair and glam rock fashion. But by the 80s, he embraced a shorter, more rugged style, complete with a mustache, marking a new phase in his personal and professional life. Freddie's influence stretched far beyond music. He became an icon of self-expression, with his fearless stage presence and defiance of traditional gender norms resonating deeply with many, especially within the LGBTQ+ community. He challenged societal expectations and became a symbol of freedom and individuality. Under Freddie's leadership, the Queen transformed not only musically but also culturally. From the 70s through the 80s, they embodied the spirit of experimentation and self-expression, breaking down traditional barriers in both their music and live performances. By the end of the 80s, Queen's style had once again evolved. Albums like The Miracle and Innuendo showcased a more mature, introspective approach. Innuendo, in particular, with its haunting title track, is often seen as a reflection of Freddie's personal struggles, especially as his health began to decline. Freddie Mercury's public image was larger than life, but his personal life was filled with complexities, private struggles, and a deep quest for love and identity. Beneath his flamboyant stage persona was a man grappling with his inner self, searching for genuine connections while dealing with societal norms that were not always kind or accepting. His early years were shaped by conservative cultural and religious influences, and when he moved to England as a teenager, he found himself in a society in the midst of major shifts, particularly in terms of sexuality and identity. One of the most significant relationships in Freddie's life was with Mary Austin. They met in the late 60s when Freddie was just starting his music career, and Mary worked at a London boutique. Their relationship quickly blossomed into a deep bond, with Freddie later referring to Mary as his common-law wife. Despite Freddie's eventual revelation of his bisexuality, their relationship remained strong, and they continued to support each other through the years. Mary played a pivotal role in his life even after their romantic relationship ended. He trusted her with much of his estate and made her the person responsible for scattering his ashes in a secret location, in accordance with his final wishes. Freddie's journey with his sexuality was both liberating and challenging. The 70s and 80s saw greater visibility for the LGBTQ+ community, but also deep stigma and discrimination. Freddie navigated this complex terrain privately, never publicly coming out during his lifetime. His relationships with men, though known to his inner circle, were kept largely out of the public eye, reflecting the pressures and the society he was living in at the time. One of the most meaningful relationships in Freddie Mercury's life was with Jim Hutton, an Irish hairdresser. They met at a nightclub in the 80s and quickly developed a close, loving bond. Jim was by Freddie's side during his final years, caring for him as his health worsened due to AIDS. Their relationship provided Freddie with much-needed stability and domestic calm, offering a contrast to the public spectacle of his stage persona. In Jim, Freddie found not only love but a sense of peace in the face of his declining health. Freddie's relationships weren't only romantic. He also formed deep, lasting friendships with other music icons, like Elton John and David Bowie. These friendships were built on mutual respect and camaraderie, providing Freddie with a network of support in an industry that could often feel isolating and competitive. Another important part of Freddie's personal life was his heritage and Zoroastrian faith, in which he was raised. While he wasn't overtly religious as an adult, his cultural background remained a key part of his identity. This blend of Eastern and Western influences often made its way into his music, which embraced a mix of cultural elements, giving his work a unique and eclectic edge. In the final chapter of Freddie Mercury's life, his battle with AIDS became a deeply personal struggle fought out of the public eye. Diagnosed in the late 80s, he faced a disease that was little understood and heavily stigmatized at the time. Despite the increasing speculation and the visible toll on his health, Freddie handled the situation with immense courage, dignity, and privacy. At a time when AIDS was often considered a death sentence and those affected by it were socially ostracized, Freddie continued to fight in private, determined to maintain his own sense of privacy and integrity. For Freddie Mercury, a beloved public figure idolized by millions, his AIDS diagnosis was not only a personal battle with a life-threatening illness, but also a challenge of navigating intense media scrutiny and public speculation. Despite his declining health, he remained committed to his music, pouring his energy into his art. His last album with Queen, Innuendo, was released in 1991, showcasing his remarkable resilience. During this time, as Freddie's health deteriorated, the media's obsession with his appearance and health reached new heights. Tabloids were rife with rumors and speculation, publishing photographs of his increasingly frail figure. Yet despite the growing public interest in his private life, Freddie and those closest to him remained silent, refusing to confirm or deny the truth. This period was incredibly difficult for Freddie, his bandmates, and his loved ones, all of whom respected his wishes for privacy in the face of relentless pressure for answers. The media frenzy surrounding Freddie's illness was a reflection of the broader climate of fear and misunderstanding that surrounded AIDS at the time. The disease was often stigmatized and linked to prejudice, especially against the LGBTQ+ community. As a beloved and admired public figure, Freddie found himself thrust into the center of this narrative. His illness became a topic of constant public discourse, and the invasive speculation about his condition was, in many ways, a testament to the moral judgment and biases of the era. Freddie's response to his illness was marked by admirable discretion and dignity. He chose to keep his diagnosis private, focusing instead on his music and the people he loved. His decision to keep his illness out of the spotlight until the very end was not just a personal choice. It was a powerful statement at a time when AIDS and the LGBTQ+ community were the subjects of rampant stigma. By keeping his battle private, Freddie asserted control over his own narrative, refusing to let his diagnosis define him. In his final days, he made the brave decision to go public with his diagnosis, sharing the news with the world and ensuring his story would be told on his terms. On November 23, 1991, just one day before his death, Freddie Mercury released a heartfelt statement publicly acknowledging that he had been battling AIDS. This announcement marked a profound moment, not only for his fans but for the global conversation surrounding the disease. It brought the reality of AIDS into the public consciousness, demonstrating that it could affect anyone, even a world-renowned rock star. Freddie's death on November 24, 1991, at the age of 45, was a moment of profound loss for the music world and its fans. His passing also became a turning point in the public perception of AIDS, helping to humanize the disease. His openness about his diagnosis played a significant role in breaking down some of the stigma surrounding AIDS, fostering a more compassionate and informed discourse. In the aftermath of his death, Freddie's legacy became instrumental in AIDS awareness and research. The Mercury Phoenix Trust, established by Queen and Freddie's manager Jim Beach, raised millions of dollars for AIDS research and awareness. Additionally, the Freddie Mercury Tribute Concert for AIDS Awareness, held in April 1992, brought together some of the biggest names in music, broadcasting to millions of viewers worldwide, and furthering the conversation about AIDS while paying tribute to Freddie's life and legacy. In his final days, Freddie's life became a time of reflection and intimacy. His once extravagant mansion, which had been a stage for lavish parties, transformed into a sanctuary, where Freddie spent precious moments with close friends and family. These days were in stark contrast to the flamboyant lifestyle he had been known for. Knowing that his time was limited, Freddie spent his final moments in a quiet, contemplative atmosphere, surrounded by those who meant the most to him. Despite his declining health, Freddie Mercury's voice remained a powerful force, a final act of defiance against the disease that ravaged his body. His deep love for cats was well known, and in his final days he spent long hours conversing with his 8 feline companions. This quirky habit was an extension of his eccentric personality, and during his tours he would often call home, ensuring that his cats could hear his voice even from miles away. These small moments of joy amidst the pain highlighted his deep affection for his beloved creatures. Jim Hutton, his partner, was a constant presence during this time, offering Freddie love, support, and companionship as his health continued to deteriorate. Freddie also dedicated time to his passion for art, creating abstract paintings that perhaps reflected his inner turmoil, as well as moments of peace. One of the most significant decisions Freddie made in his final days was to stop taking his medication. This choice wasn't about surrendering. Rather, it was about reclaiming control. He wanted to face his death on his own terms, a decision that mirrored his entire life, marked by independence and defiance. During these quieter moments, Freddie also expressed thoughts about the future of the Queen. He had no reservations about the band continuing after his departure, which demonstrated his concern for the band's legacy. He wanted the music of the Queen to live on, transcending his physical presence. Freddie also took steps to ensure that those he loved were taken care of after his passing, making provisions for his wealth and personal possessions. His attention to detail in these final days was a testament to his care for those close to him, ensuring his legacy endured in both music and love. Mary Austin, Freddie Mercury's former girlfriend and lifelong friend, played an especially significant role in his final plans. He entrusted her with a considerable portion of his fortune, as well as the responsibility of executing his final wishes. Though the world didn't know it at the time, Freddie was quietly shaping his final act. He spent his last hours in the comfort of his home, surrounded by those he loved. His assistant later recalled his final words, a request not to be portrayed as someone boring. Even in his final moments, Freddie's vibrant personality continued to shine through. Behind the public facade, however, Freddie Mercury struggled with personal demons, including drug addiction, which had a profound impact on his life and career. His substance use offers a more complete understanding of the man behind the legend, shedding light on both his vulnerabilities and resilience. Mercury's drug use began during the hedonistic 1970s and 1980s, a period marked by the excesses of rock and roll culture. Recreational drug use was widespread in the music industry at the time, and Freddie, like many of his peers, indulged in cocaine. The pressures of fame, constant touring, and the intense public scrutiny he faced contributed to his turning to substances as an escape and coping mechanism. Cocaine, in particular, played a significant role during the height of Queen's success. The drug was readily available and became a part of Freddie's social life, often used during parties and gatherings. His use of cocaine wasn't just about the euphoria. It was also a means to sustain the high-energy performances and keep up with the demanding pace of his lifestyle. The stimulating effects of cocaine allowed Freddie Mercury to keep pace with the relentless schedule and immense demands of being a global rock star. However, the euphoria provided by the drug came at a significant cost. Cocaine's impact on Mercury's physical and psychological health was profound. leading to severe consequences such as cardiovascular issues, respiratory problems, and significant mental health challenges like anxiety, paranoia, and depression. These effects began to manifest in Mercury's life, impacting both his personal and professional relationships. Those closest to him, including friends and bandmates, noticed changes in his behavior. He became more irritable and erratic, with periods of deep introspection followed by bouts of high energy. The highs and lows associated with cocaine use created a volatile atmosphere, complicating his interactions and collaborations with others. Despite these challenges, Mercury's immense talent and charisma often masked the underlying struggles, allowing him to continue performing and creating music at an exceptional level. However, the lifestyle tied to his drug use also led to risky behaviors and decisions. His personal life, marked by a series of relationships and extravagant parties, often mirrored the chaos fueled by addiction. These behaviors, while part of the rock star mythos, also exposed him to significant health risks and further complicated his struggles with substance abuse. One of the most notable collaborations during this period was with Michael Jackson. In the early 1980s, the two iconic artists attempted to record a series of songs together. However, the partnership was fraught with tension, largely due to Mercury's escalating drug use. This addiction became a significant point of contention between the two artists, ultimately leading to the collaboration falling apart. Michael Jackson, known for his meticulous and professional approach to music, grew increasingly frustrated by Freddie Mercury's erratic behavior during their recording sessions. At the time, Mercury was struggling with his cocaine addiction, which often led to unpredictable and disruptive conduct. Jackson, who valued discipline and precision in the studio, found it difficult to work under such conditions. The collaboration between the two artists began with high hopes. Both were excited about the prospect of combining their unique talents and started working on a few tracks, including There Must Be More to Life Than This and State of Shock. However, the sessions quickly became strained as Mercury's drug use led to frequent delays and erratic behavior, clashing with Jackson's need for a controlled and productive working environment. Jackson was particularly disturbed by Mercury's habit of bringing drugs into the studio. On several occasions, Jackson witnessed Mercury indulging in cocaine during breaks in their sessions. This behavior was not only a distraction but also ran counter to Jackson's personal and professional values. Known for avoiding drugs and alcohol, Jackson found it increasingly difficult to tolerate Mercury's actions. In interviews and conversations, Jackson later expressed his frustration, telling friends and associates that he was fed up with Mercury's drug use and the negative impact it had on their work. The tension peaked when Jackson discovered that Mercury had smuggled a drug dealer into the studio, further complicating their collaboration. Ultimately, the strained relationship between the two artists led to the abandonment of their joint project. The unfinished tracks remained in the vaults for years before being released in various forms. Jackson went on to complete State of Shock with Mick Jagger, while Mercury included There Must Be More to Life Than This on his solo album. The failed collaboration between Freddie Mercury and Michael Jackson serves as a significant example of how Mercury's addiction impacted his professional relationships. Jackson's frustration was not merely about the delays and disruptions, but also about the fundamental differences in their approaches to music and work ethics. Freddie Mercury's struggle with addiction, while a deeply personal battle, had far-reaching consequences, affecting even the most promising artistic partnerships. His collaboration with Michael Jackson, which held so much potential, is a poignant example of the complexities that arise when personal issues interfere with creative endeavors. Despite the disappointments caused by these challenges, both Mercury and Jackson continued to achieve extraordinary success in their respective careers, leaving an indelible mark on the music world. One of the most eerie and emotional moments in Mercury's final months is captured in a photograph taken in August 1991 by his longtime partner, Jim Hutton. The image shows Mercury standing in the garden of his Kensington home, Garden Lodge. Despite his frail appearance, Mercury's inherent charisma shines through, making the photograph both heartbreaking and profoundly moving. In the photograph, Mercury is seen wearing a blue and white patterned shirt and light trousers. His once robust frame is visibly thinner, a testament to the toll AIDS had taken on his body. Yet his posture remains upright and dignified, reflecting the same strength and resilience that had marked his life and career. The serene garden setting adds another layer of poignancy to the image. Surrounded by lush greenery and vibrant flowers, Mercury appears at peace, enjoying a moment of calm in his beloved garden. This peaceful backdrop contrasts sharply with the internal struggles he was facing, offering a glimpse into his desire to maintain a sense of normalcy and tranquility, despite his declining health. By this time, speculation about Mercury's health was rampant, fueled by his increasingly rare public appearances and the noticeable physical changes that came with his illness. Yet, Mercury had chosen to keep his battle with AIDS private, focusing instead on his music and the people he loved. The final photograph, taken in the quietude of his garden, offers a rare, intimate glimpse into his last private moments. It also serves as a testament to the love and support he received from those closest to him during his final days. Jim Hutton, the man who captured the final photograph of Freddie Mercury, was a constant presence in his life, offering unwavering support and companionship. Hutton, along with other close friends and family, provided Mercury with a vital source of strength during his final days. This photograph, taken just months before Mercury's passing, has since become an iconic representation of his final chapter. It encapsulates the dichotomy of his existence in those last months. A legendary performer grappling with a debilitating illness, yet still exuding a quiet dignity and grace. The image not only captures the physical toll of his illness, but also celebrates the enduring spirit of a man who lived life on his own terms. The final moments of Mercury's life, captured through this poignant photograph, highlight both his vulnerability and his remarkable strength. His passing on November 24, 1991, just 3 months after this photograph was taken, marked the end of an era. However, the legacy he left behind continues to inspire and captivate fans around the world, making his spirit eternal. Legacy and cultural impact post-death. Freddie Mercury's passing left a void in the music world that reverberated far beyond music and entertainment. In the years following his death, his legacy has not only grown, but has also transcended generations and cultural boundaries. His influence extends into various facets of art, society, and popular culture, continuing to inspire millions globally. Mercury's musical genius remains a cornerstone of Queen's enduring popularity. Classic hits like Bohemian Rhapsody, Somebody to Love, and We Are the Champions have stood the test of time, becoming anthems for new generations. These songs, characterized by their innovative structures, eclectic styles, and Mercury's powerful vocals, are staples on radio playlists, in movie soundtracks, and at sporting events. The release of the biopic Bohemian Rhapsody in 2018 sparked a resurgence of interest in both Mercury's life and Queen's music, introducing his story and their iconic songs to a new audience. The biopic was a monumental success, bridging generations of fans and ensuring that Freddie Mercury's legacy would continue to resonate for years to come. His contributions to music, his role in breaking down barriers, and his unapologetic embrace of individuality cement his place as one of the most influential and beloved figures in music history. Freddie Mercury's impact transcended the realm of music, cementing his status as a cultural icon celebrated for his unique style, flamboyant stage persona, and courageous life. He became a trailblazer, particularly in how he challenged societal norms, especially regarding sexuality and performance. As a result, Mercury is revered as an icon in the LGBTQ+ community, symbolizing freedom, self-expression, and the ongoing fight against stigma and discrimination. His influence spans genres, with countless artists citing him as a major inspiration. Mercury's ability to fuse different musical styles and push the boundaries of traditional rock music revolutionized not only his genre but also the live music experience. His approach to stage performance, marked by an electrifying connection with the audience, set a high bar for future artists, making him a pioneer in live concerts. Beyond his music, Mercury's fashion sense, like his artistry, was both bold and unconventional. From elaborate costumes to the iconic simple white tank top and jeans, his style influenced not just music but fashion as well. His attire blended theatricality with simplicity, making statements and breaking gender norms in fashion, further pushing the boundaries of conventionality. The story of Freddie Mercury and Queen has been immortalized in various movies, documentaries, books, and other media forms. These portrayals have played a crucial role in keeping his memory alive and introducing his artistry to new generations. The widespread success of these portrayals speaks to his long-lasting appeal and the curiosity he continues to spark, even decades after his death. Mercury's legacy is not just confined to his musical achievements. He has become a symbol of resilience and the pursuit of one's true self. His openness about his sexuality and his battle with AIDS have made him a significant figure in social movements, advocating for LGBTQ+ rights and health issues. His honesty and vulnerability, both in his music and in his life, resonate with those who have faced similar struggles, solidifying his place as an enduring figure in the fight for equality and understanding. Today, decades after his death, Freddie Mercury's legacy continues to evolve. He lives on through his music, his influence on pop culture, and the ongoing work of the Mercury Phoenix Trust. His life story, marked by triumphs and challenges, continues to inspire and speak to the human experience. Thank you for watching. Be sure to subscribe for more videos like this.